really good litmus test for both teams. How dominant can Team Envy be? If they're going to be dominant at all this game, or will Second Wind be able to exceed expectations for the 11th time?
They're going to have to exceed Sharp's Bastion first, and that's a tall task for many a team coming up against this type of bunker-esque comp. Second Wind running their own Orisa with Shredlock. This is now his second official Contenders game. Congratulations. With Exarath on Baptiste. So there's going to be an Immortality field for Team Envy to deal with here. Sharp, while he does pump out so much damage per second, he's only one stream of bullets, which means once that comes out, we're going to have to see Team Envy focus it down. Doesn't seem to be a problem, though. Zyre is actually the first blood, and this should be an easy cap for Envy.
Yeah, and you as you said, focus it down. That's exactly what they were doing to the Immortality field. Fire getting the last hit on there, but that's a really great example of just how teams talk to each other, right? I don't really think their comps are going to be clogged up with a lot of nonsense. They just play like one hive mind sometimes. And whenever they find an advantage, they all just push at the exact same time. And Elivo, who I believe, now that Trill is gone, is the man here on Envy, eats the first ultimate that comes out of Second Wind that can be eaten, that Dragon Strike sliding into the VM of Elivo.
Really nice stuff, really nice peel from Envy as well. Jaru also coming to the aid of Crimzo, who's getting aggressed upon by Azire's Torb. This is one of the ways that you can play Torbjorn in this kind of composition. You just work him a little bit more as like a solo DPS, a flanker here, but in the meantime, Second Wind have been able to cap this point back from underneath Team Envy's noses, so they need this tank ultimate now to clear some of those pesky Second Wind members.
Sharp's so good, he missed the standing still turret there, a little bit too big brain. They are going to be able to flip the point. This is why Orisa's so good here on Well, specifically. A Second Wind did lose a couple members, but just because the blue Orisa is where they can position on the objective, it's way easier for them to stall out the point and gain some free percentages. They were getting close to 40% there, finishing it off at 39%. As Exarath's going to be using that amplification wall. At this point in time, that's going to be good for the DPS on their side, but let's see how many kills they're going to be able to come out of it. Some more damage coming out from Team Envy as Voltage going to be using that Battle Bongo. Fire going to be getting that frag there. Fire definitely one of the bigger fragging Lucios we have here in the Contenders, and looking at the ultimates, one team is looking much better than the other, and that's going to be Team Envy. Even though they did use a couple of those ultimates on one side, there are two support ultimates, on the other, there are none.
Yeah, Second Wind right now just having a hard time making use of what ultimates that they do have. Molten Core and Dragon Strike will both be online in this next fight, which is a really great chance for Second Wind to, again, flip this point. Team Envy so far have been playing this really intelligently, not prioritizing the objective when they realize that doing so could lead to the death of their members. But between this Molten Core and the Dragon Strike, they're going to have a hard time standing still. They're going to have to rotate sooner rather than later to keep everybody alive.
Just waiting for the Immortality field to go away. This time the Dragon Strike goes through. Sharp, though, going to get it the first blood onto Hello, I'm a Halo. And this is something that Team Envy is so good at. You see an ultimate come in. There is no sniper on the field right now, but like they get EMP and then they come out on top in the fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was given Second Wind, being optimistic here, but between every ultimate that they had, it was not enough, and Envy is going to take this Helios well round. Doomfist have been showing up mightily today, but unfortunately not against Team Envy. Sharp doesn't even bother to move, man. Second Wind.
Yeah, he's got his friends, and friendship is power.
Mahalo.
Right? Mahalo means friendship.
Yep, exactly.
And now that round one is complete, Team Envy's up a 1-0 against Second Wind. That was quite the stomping coming from Team Envy this time around. And another thing, and another reason why they're so good is they just never seem like they're out of control, right?
Yes.
Even when Second Wind owned the point, did it feel like they were ahead? No, it didn't, because Team Envy just has that power over you. Only one team has really been able to figure that out, and that was Fusion University at the Atlantic Showdown. And, they were pushed by a couple of the European teams, but really here in Contenders, Second Wind are going to have to figure it out soon on how to put Team Envy on the back foot. Last week, it was definitely, Lulsish's first time coming into the team. There were definitely some growing pains. Haven't seen any of that so far this game, but if you're looking for an opening or an opportunity to potentially break the seal on Team Envy, that might be it.
Yep, and it might start with a great D-Mech onto Barbie, who's already half health, but now he's getting healed up. Shredlock taking quite a bit of damage, but no, it's going to be Lessard who falls first. Is traded back immediately, though, so this fight is not dead just yet for Team Envy.
One team has a mech, and one team doesn't, and Barbie is living life in his mech right now, eating some Doritos, I'm sure. Fire, though, coming back with a return kill. Team Envy were able to cap the point. They're going to get some free percentage. They're going to be missing a member here, for just a little while longer, but when they're letting Crimso just fire off into the back line, it's going to be really easy for him to get to that Transcendence and delay second win a little while longer. This is going to turn into a 6v6 here on at the objective. Shredlock already using the allied barrier to good advantage. So Desire's going to have some good energy. You're seeing that Zarya glow, but Losich is going to get that first kill onto Shredlock, and Crimso was able to get to the Transcendence in a time, and Desire now, though, knows that there is a free grab coming his way. If Elivo doesn't eat fire, will have to invest the sound barrier for that ultimate. It's all about what happens after for second win. They definitely have an opening.
Yeah, they just got to clean up their plate, got to keep their Zenyatta alive. He's one of the key components of this GOATS team that allows you to shred down the tanks in that mid to late fight. An early grab from Azire.
Exarath is so very low, finally regenerating those shields as the Graviton Surge comes through, and Fire able to save the rest of the team. They're going to go ahead and invest that rally as well, so they're going to have some good damage mitigation coming from their side as well. Second win coming up on those ultimates. Team Envy, that will have 3 at their disposal and no time at all. Sound barrier now to escort second win onto the objective. There are the support ultimates for Team Envy. Voltage unable to get to that Earthshatter in time. Second win find their opening, and they should cap this point. Voltage, Charu, and Sharp are all back in spawn, but it's that feeling again. You can't ever count Team Envy out. Second win are winning for now, but how long can they keep this point? Because they don't have an opportunity to lose it again.
They have to keep it for at least 100 seconds more if they are to tie things up and not give Envy an early win on control. Really beautiful counter shatter from Shredlock to lay all of Envy down when he was caught in the grab. If he hadn't done that, Team Envy would have even more point percentage. We might even see a 190 or a 0.99 type of scenario. As it stands, Team Envy, especially with their Zarya dead, need a little bit more time to work up to that grab. They're going to be racing Exarath, who will now have that Transcendence sooner rather than later. Interesting shatter from Losich, showing the ground who's boss, and he certainly did, but not much else.
That was definitely a unique decision coming in from Losich there, and second win were so behind on ultimates in that moment in time. Team Envy have let them come right back in terms of ultimate economy. Crimso had the Transcendence at the ready that whole time, as second win asserting their dominance right now, pushing Team Envy all the way back to spawn, and they're going to leave with an ultimate advantage as well. We just saw Team Envy smuggle an opportunity with those ultimates, so it could totally happen for second win, but second win, definitely, we're seeing that energy, we're seeing that fire, not the player that second wind is working with right now.
Yeah, and they're playing this very controlled as well, not overstaying their welcome. They want to take this fight on the point where they can try and preempt Team Envy.
Graviton Surge to start things off from Desire. Losich gets charged, but there is enough there to keep him alive. The displacement might have been a little too good for Shredlock's Earthshatter, as no one was on the ground because everyone was flying around because of those boots. Self-destruct right in the middle of the field coming in from Elivo as Losich dying first. Once again, we mentioned a little earlier, there is a weakness. It was Losich, and I think that's happening once more. Second win getting so close to holding for all of those 100 seconds after Team Envy lost that fight a little while ago. Things were going to be a lot harder for them. The Graviton Surge still coming right back from Team Envy. This is an opportunity for them to potentially grab a pick, but Sharp, I think, releasing that because he maybe thought he had to. These are mistakes that we're not used to seeing this team make.
This is a really tough sell right here. Envy lost fire to a stagger, which meant no speed for anybody to get back onto the point quickly. Sharp threw that grab in a really disadvantageous position. All of second win were streaming towards the Envy spawn. There was no way to 6 feet free them, and with that, it looks like second win are going to tie things up here. Losich, just getting that pin kill to pad the stats, but it will be a 1v1 here on Elias, to be decided on Lighthouse.
Yeah, so this is also, when you're a team like Team Envy, you want to punish anyone who comes up to you. You do not want your opponent to feel any type of hope or dream whatsoever, just nightmares. And what they did just then was give second wind that mentality that we can take this. We just took a round off of Team Envy. We can totally take the match.
I mean, there's a lot to be said about taking your opponents out of system, keeping them uncomfortable. Even if you're not finding those kills, if you're making them second guess their decisions, you're doing something right. We just saw that come into play in our last series with Triumph and Wave Check. So Envy certainly going to be throwing a wrench into the gears if Elivote does walk out with this Reaper. I love this look though. I'm getting so excited because Elivote, not only is he a world-class diva and Pharah, and Mei, but potentially he also has a pocket Reaper in his cloak.
They're going to have no idea this Reaper is there unless they saw him phase shift up into the high ground. And so basically what Elivote is going to be waiting for is 4-second win to make a decision. Team Envy know that they're only functioning with 5 members. And, you know, remember, if you crouch, you're invisible. As there, he's going to get spotted out, potentially booped off. So this Reaper's not going to be as surprising as they wish they wanted. He's going to have to shift away. Wraithlock all the way back to the objective to keep himself safe. He's going to be isolated. Halo doing absolutely everything he needs to do. Keep this Reaper in a check while he does get the armor pack. He's going to get booped and bopped around. I actually, now that it's clear to me, Team Envy puts Elivote on the objective. 2 people come to him. They're not looking at the rest of Team Envy that get the first pick. That's good stuff.
I mean, Frill had to turn his back to potentially save his Lucio, open him up to the orbs from Crimzo. I mean, Team Envy is obviously just a 2,000 IQ team right there. Whether or not second win noticed the Reaper, it's still a win. Still a win for Team Envy. And we were just talking about Samido's Symmetra and what value that added to that defense on Rialto. And surprise is a really massive factor if you can take that initial fight. Because this Reaper now past 50% to that Death Blossom, you know if you catch second win without support ultimates on the point, you're going to be likely winning that fight, taking down at least, you know, 1 tank.
And, you know, second win have not practiced this. There's no way they have practiced this against the Reaper, so they're in a position that they're not used to. So they're going to have to make decisions on the fly, use their inherent ability to transfer over and try to take this Reaper down. Because it's not like he's on the damage, but his presence on the field is enough to affect how second win come into this point, as the Transcendence is going to be used from Exerout to push Team Envy all the way back to the objective. The Transcendence is going to be late. Joelsish is not going to be able to stay alive. Elivote, though, just going to walk right into the middle, and second win left click a couple times to get a kill onto Hello on Halo. He also has that Death Blossom available, and wow, what a turn of events. Second win went into that so confidently, and they're coming out of it with a loss.
I vote for Reaper to be the next GOAT's DPS. Forget Sombra. This is so much more satisfying. His ability to shred that shield. I mean, Shredlock, even though it's in his name, had no way to push up against that damage, even though Ellie wasn't finding those kills. Team Envy playing this so well. They're 3 seconds away from a win. Second win, deep this grab to be massive.
The Death Blossom starts things off, and that's a really great time to use it as they come into the Graviton Surge, where they have to take that damage. The barrier was enough to keep Azire alive, and now everyone is healthy. Things are actually looking a little squirrely for Team Envy. They need to find that pick. Frill and Azire might be exactly what they needed. Crimson once again coming in hot. These support players for Team Envy know exactly what they're doing. They get those frags, and Team Envy get this win on Ilios. Second wind. Man, that's a great way to respond to a round loss, right? You know, we were just talking about now second win has the hope. You bring out the Reaper, you run interference, you do the Lure Devour on it to the objective. We usually see that with Sombras sometimes, where you put, you know, an invisible Sombra.
You pincer him.
Yeah, and then you pincer him, but all it took was for the Reaper, and I think just maybe what people think of Reaper, oh, it's Reaper, we totally got this. Right. What Hello Halo was able to do, to boop him like 6 times, but what is the Lucio going to do to finish off a Reaper unless you get, you know, a super big power chord, or you know, or some type of musical boop adventure, right? You got to have the whole symphony at your disposal if you want to take that Reaper down. But because they focused on that Reaper so much, because he was capping the point, they had to bring someone else because it wasn't going to be the Lucio.
Exactly. I mean, Hello, I'm Halo could have kept Elivote occupied, but he certainly wasn't going to be contesting for too much longer. He needed some backup, and Team Envy again working so patiently, so calculated. That's the thing. Right? It's as if, you know, anytime you see them pop off and you think that, oh, you know, Team Envy can't possibly level it up anymore, they're like, watch this. not even my final form. And they pull something out like a Reaper, who, you know, a lot of people in ranked have been saying for ages, well, just play Reaper against these tanks, forehead. And while, you know, Elivote made it look very easy, you have to remember that he had the support of his entire team. He himself was never, you know, putting his body at risk in order to find that damage. He had, you know, he had a Zarya right next to him, you know, also throwing out those deeps. So, you know, Team Envy made that Reaper work, but it is something that's very difficult to pull off, which makes it all the more impressive.
Well, you can see the difference, and I think we can even draw some comparisons from our last game, that Triumph game, where when a team trusts each other, they look different on the field. The reason why that was a little less brawly overall is because Elivote walked in not expecting to die, right? They let him do his thing, and you know who they did that for before? Trill, right? And so they're just so good at enabling that single person and just keeping themselves safe. And then you've got arguably the two best fragging supports in Contenders, at least in this group, with Crimzo coming in with 3 very important picks on that map alone, and Fire doing his own work there. Basically just that like trust, that love, again, the power of friendship really coming up strong for Team Envy. Second win, though, should not be disappointed by their performance. They got debated by the Reaper. That's okay, I think, for now. But now coming into the next map, they went through a roller coaster of emotion. They got stomped on Well. They won.
They wrecked on Helios.
Yeah, they won
Ruins.
on Ruins, right? And then we go to Lighthouse and they get taken down by the Reaper. How do you recover from that?
Yeah, how do you come back from that? That's going to be the question. That's a very difficult question that Second Wind now have to answer on one of our newest maps, Paris. And this is when that teamwork from Envy becomes even more frightening, when that hive mind starts working even greater, and the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts here. So this first point, very difficult to assault, and we know that Elivote is so capable on so many heroes that it's going to be very difficult to adapt to whatever Team Envy throw their way.
And so Paris usually runs pretty similarly every single time. The defensive side most likely will be running some type of bunker comp or variation. Right now we're seeing a little bit of clockwork for Second Wind. Team Envy gonna be rocking a couple DPS on their side. Elivote on the Batiste. You know, and it's so cool to see these divas. You know, it's very intriguing to me that all of a sudden your diva needs to be the most versatile player on your team.
It used to be only DPS had to be hyper flexes in order to, you know, swap for whatever the tanks are that stayed mostly constant, but these days the off-tank role truly has become a flex tank role, and Second Wind going to hedge their bets with this Clockwork. I am personally very excited. It's one of my favorite comps to watch when it works out very well.
Hitscan versus Farad. That's a match made in heaven. So
or hell if you're the far up.
So Elivote going to have to fly back on another approach. Team Envy with the Sombra. Usually with the Sombra / Pharah, you're just waiting for them to get to those ultimates. Crimzo getting some good healing down. The Nano will definitely help them stay alive. But tell us a little bit about Second Wind's comp. Why does this work?
So Clockwork works very well because each one of these heroes is extremely self-sufficient. One of the reasons you can run with a solo Mercy, even though you don't need to. Ana is also very popular. The difficulty is that, you know, many of these heroes operate best at that mid-range, except for Frill's Ashe. Oh, what a sleep! This is actually big. They can rush in.
This is huge. I muttered under my breath because, you know, Elivote gets taken down twice by the same person. Maybe you're not feeling it, but Elivote's not the whole team of a Team Envy as Crimzo coming up clutch with that sleep. And, you know, something I'm sure you were about to say to finish your point was the thing about Clockwork is it's the chain link, right? We talked about that with Goats too, but I think it's more so when it comes to Clockwork. You have to work together, and less people, it's just magnified the discrepancies that you're running with that comp.
Exactly, it becomes more and more obvious the holes in this very unique composition. Another really key thing of running Clockwork successfully is hitting every single one of your cooldowns. You're largely playing around Halt Hook. You must hit that combo. Molten Core and Wall are just tools to zone the enemies into your Halt Hooks. If you're not able to pull that off, well, you're only playing with, you know, one of your hands. Second Wind is going to keep Shredlock on that Aris, and now Barbie already has that Blizzard Might as well. It's a very good zoning ultimate, but Team Envy have already set up for this. They have no idea Charu's here.
Oh, it's going to be a big EMP. Only 3 people, but that's going to be enough. And again, you're seeing the teamwork right in front of your eyes. They were ready for that. That is communication. They could have gotten more out of this. This Lessard actually going to be taking Evie out, who is now on the brig. I believe this is his 4th hero so far. This potentially, this match so far. Daru going to get a return kill onto Barbie. This isn't over for Team Envy just yet, as Frill tried to take some people out with those scoped headshots. As of right now, not finding a ton of success. The ball is going to be zoned away because of the halt, though. It's going to come through, unable to make contact on Jaru's head. Jaru actually going to be able to run away. That halt into the headshot is one of those like halt hook type of combos, right? The way that they come in and then they fall is a very predictable pattern.
Jaru, man, slippery like an eel, coated in Crisco, manages to get back to his team, and that means that Envy now doesn't have to wait. He's very close to yet another EMP. He just needs a couple more of these good hacks. And Second Wind themselves are going to have a hard time pushing in. It's going to be a little easier after this pick, though. Frill takes him down, but immediately Sharp answers back. Frill's got to work double time. This is the 3v3 right now.
Man, the brawls are going to continue. It's not just Wave Check and Triumph. It's also Second Wind and Envy as they are trading kills. One team, though, is going to be taking a little bit more time as... Wow, Ellie is going to go down fire. Going to be doing the same thing. Sharp feeding himself as well.
I think at this point, Team Envy need to consider swapping onto a Lucio. The Mercy's not really doing anything with no Pharah in the air. Basically, you're just bait for Frill's, just to check, how much aim hero Frill has been playing. But Envy are going to swap onto the Somber Goats proper now. A really good comp, tons of beef to hold this very large and wide open point. And with Fire's Lucio, that means you can approach this enemy, overtake them very quickly, and Second Wind realize this, going to swap Shredlock onto this own ride.
Hello, I'm a Halo and Fire, both showing up in terms of aggressive Lucio play, zoning out the DPS onto the other side. Beautiful purple biotic grenade coming in from Exarath, but this tends to happen against Team Envy. These EMPs, those beautiful biotic grenades, aren't going to be enough, as Jaru going to be flexing that DPS side of Sombra. It's not just utility, it's also that 60 bullet clip. That's a really great way to get back to your EMP as well. The hack not going to land onto that Wrecking Ball. Second Wind spawns definitely coming back to their advantage. Jaru and the rest of Team Envy are going to have to try one more time, especially since Frill was able to get that kill onto Fire.
Really good reaction from Second Wind right there with that early hack, but Team Envy, despite everything and losing out on that fight, still have 2 ticks and a little bit more. Oh man, Barbie really wants to take Crimzo down, but overextends. Oh, the grab!
Oh, and this is really good news for Team Envy, and we got an environmental kill coming in from Fire.
Frog on frog violence.
Oh my goodness, Team Envy taking them down. The good news for Second Wind is that at least they're so far in front. They have a little bit of time. The wall is going to stall just a little while longer. Jaru is going to get slept, but Second Wind definitely on the back foot here. They got a little bit overconfident. You don't do that against Team Envy, but you can do this. The Urge Gunner comes through. Switch gets taken down. The sound layer are not going to be enough to save him, as Barbie's going to fall one more time. EMP now going to land onto the rest of Second Wind. This is the last opportunity for Team Envy. I think in the next minute and a half, they are able to grab the second point. What a turn of events for Team Envy. Second Wind feeling confident as all get out, and they get grabbed. They weren't tracking that ultimate.
That is called getting pantsed, my friends. So, I mean, Hammond 1v1ing an Ana, you could, make arguments for it, but you're so close to the spawn. The rest of Envy is going to be rallying around their grandma, and Second Wind, it looked like they might have been able to turn it around after that really well-placed wall, but unfortunately, Jaru comes in with his, third, fourth massive EMP, hits all the remaining living members of Second Wind, and that's game over, man. It's game over.
And, I love seeing those Zaryas go in using that melee attack into the middle of the Graviton Surges. You actually get more damage by peppering in those melees, as opposed to just holding it on the laser, because you get more spread out damage with those melees. There's a really good video with Karq and Jane explaining a lot of those tips, so definitely check it out because you'll learn a couple things. Like, if you're going to get environmental killed, or if you're trying to, get your reset, make sure to always jump before you get into the drink, because it resets whatever the game thinks is happening and will take away that potential environmental kill and ultimate charge from your Lucio, or the opposing Lucio, for example.
All those little bits of tech add up to make you a great Overwatch player. Team Envy now on the defense with their own Bastion with Sharp. He's going to be sharp shooting down second wind is the hopes of all Envy fans. And Jaru back on the Sombra. But take a look at this. Elivo on his 5th hero of the day. Orisa. I love this because it's all about the debate. Take a look at where Lulsish is positioned. Second Wind are going to see this Orisa Bastion setup and absolutely not expect a Winston to be hiding around the corner waiting to taser them down. But it looks like Envy going to go for the safer hold inside the kiosk here, leave Lulsish a little bit out in the cold on his own, but he's got the booster pack, the jump pack. He'll be safe. He'll be fine.
Well, we've seen this getting a little bit more popular as time goes on, this Orisa-Winston combo. The synergy is definitely there. You haul the ball into that Tesla cannon, and your Winston all of a sudden has a ton of ultimate charge.
I also really like the synergy between Lulsish and Jaru. One of them can be instantly on top of you with the jump, and one of them can be stealthed infinitely. You can find really advantageous 2v1s without second wind knowing what hit him.
It's really easy to pincer with both of those characters as well, since most of the time the team's going to have to go into the Orisa at some point. And so when a team commits to that, your Sombra and your Winston can jump right behind them and force them to split their attention, and maybe even saving that Orisa in the end. As Sharp on this Bastions has showed up, he was there on Ilios and played quite well. The Halt not going to find anybody, and you see how terrified this Pharah is playing right now. A single rocket for every peak, because it's all you can take when you're going up against Sharp.
Oh, Sharp getting taken a bit low, but the immortality field is there from Fire. This is the difficulty running against bunkers that have Baptiste. You not only have to take down the Orisa shield, which feels like it's infinite in number, but you also have to burn through the immortality.
It actually just happened with Jaru getting that kill, what we were talking about, getting that pincer, jumping onto the same person, but it's a 5v5 now for both of these teams. Oh, Shredlock going to get taken down, but the res onto Exirath could give them enough time to get that Transcendence. As of right now, second wind continuing on with that momentum. Without Sharp on this Bastion, it's going to be much harder for them to hold, but EMP coming through. Second wind, 3 members are hacked. Hello, Halo, Zion, and Frill, though, are all going to survive, even though they're all low. But actually, no, I spoke too soon. Hello, Halo is going to go down with Valkyrie in hand.
Jaru has been so impressive on this Sombra so far, not just in terms of how many opponents he's able to hack and EMP at once, but the damage. So solo killing both supports of second wind single-handedly, holding down that objective. That is not something that you can just expect your Sombra players to be able to do, but that allowed Elivote and Sharp's Bastion setup to recover there in the kiosk. Really great play.
We saw that pincer once more as Lulsish is going to get a little help from his friends. Primal Rage is going to get him back to his friends as well, as they're going to have to invest this res, and that means Frill is going to be gone for the rest of this attack. And with a minute left, second wind haven't been able to even get close to the point, Ham.
They do have an opportunity, though. Both Minefield, Trance, and EMP are up here. This could be massive. Team Envy are extremely immobile with their bunker setup. They just need to get Barbie and Frill or Azire in place to first nullify all abilities and then pound them with that damage.
Using the Transcendence, Hello, I'm Halo gets halted. They have to use the Transcendence to keep their Mercy alive, and it might work out for them in the end as the Immortality field gets taken down. So Sharp and Elivet are going to be taken out of this fight. They're down 2 members, but second wind might be down 2 members of their own. Shredlock and Barbie are so low, and the EMP comes through. Team Envy are not out of this yet. It's pretty even right now. It's still going to get purple. They have to get this pick if Team Envy really want to hold on here. Izire on that Pharah is going to become more and more of a nuisance as time goes on.
Oh, 2 members are still on fire. There's a takedown Hanzo. Oh my goodness, this is down to the very last second. Sharp back on the Tracer, keeping the defense's hopes alive. Battle Bongo is still available for Elivo, but Team Envy might just give this up at this point. But they get a pick. This is incredible. Jaru's still in this fight.
I see what Envy was trying to do there, but it's actually going to make their defense here on this last point a little bit more squirrely for them. They saw them just use their ultimates because they were about to switch characters, and they're like, maybe we could take this. They don't have any of their ultimates right now, but the Winston jumps in and dies right away. Jaru's still back in its spawn, so this is going to be a little bit of a delayed defense for Team Envy, but second wind taking a little while to come onto the point. They only have the 1 ultimate.
Yeah, they only have the one ultimate, and this is a comp that's pretty difficult to take such a wide open space with. You're very squirrely. You need to take advantage of all the crossfires they can possibly set up. Right now, they're just buying time for Barbie or Azire to get up to one of those ultimates that they can open with, but they're constantly getting peppered here. Sharp, though, brought extremely low.
20 HP and a Dream finally gets some healing as Lultish, Jaru, and Ellie that are all controlling the point. Shredlock trying to ring around the Rosie, but Sharp finally finding that headshot, and it's a good one onto Exarath. Halo is going to try it for the res. Oh, survives! Jaru's going to have to finish off that kill. EMP coming in through the other way. Rocket Bro's not going to last for very long. Fire getting that kill, but Team Envy definitely still on the back foot here on this defensive side. Ellivote going to get DM'd. Second win, definitely trying to be taking this point. Team Envy going to try to delay as long as possible. The second win right now ahead in terms of time bake. They capture the point, but there's 30 seconds more for second win. Team Envy are going to attack one more time. Paris is going to extra innings.
Sharp, wow, he's so good on that Widow, and you have the threat of the one-shot kill. Second Wind were running so many DPS, right, that just statistically speaking, in the hands of capable players like Barbie, Azire, and Frill, you're going to have more chances to put in more damage, while Team Envy can really only play catch-up. It was very much the opposite on point A, where Second Wind could get no traction at all. I mean, they're throwing this out for anybody else who also plays Civ 6, but you know to stop warring with somebody if you're spending all of your time making units rather than building up your cities. Second Wind was just trying to plug holes in that Team Envy were shooting into their comp for the majority of point A, and thus they weren't really able to get any progress. But things were flipped come point B. Envy potentially getting a little bit too confident in their ability to clutch out the fight through a bunch of ultimates into a losing defense that they really could have used later on.
Well, I think it all started when they last second decided, usually we don't see those last second decisions coming in from these top tier teams, but they threw those ultimates out. They didn't quite capture the point. They're like, let's go for this. Maybe we can grit this out like we have so many times before. And then they didn't. And by the time Second Wind even comes in to the second point, Jaru was still dead in spawn. They were able to reset completely, but that kind of feeling, that's not what you want to feel going into those defenses. Those Team Envy going to be coming out with Ellivote on the Diva this time around. That's going to be a little bit more normal for them. Crimso on this Ana has definitely shined in the past, but they're down to 2 minutes already, just deciding what they want to run. Second Win going to be trying out this Clockwork once more.
Yep, and Clockwork comp all about landing those cooldowns right here, because if Team Envy just get on top of this Orisa bunker, there's going to be very little that they can do, not even a shield bash from a Brigitte to get a little bit more distance. Envy right now just working on that shield break, got to work through Barbie's wall. Going to be fairly easy, but that actually might be a boon here. Envy could use it to rotate. It doesn't look like they're going to take that opportunity. Crimso searching for hooks right now, but gets exposed.
Oh, Sharp getting that headshot. The res is going to have to be invested into that Widowmaker. Sharp getting a couple more picks on those domes. Jaru going to get one of his own. Halo is down. This first point shouldn't last very much longer, especially without that Mercy. That means no support coming for Second Win, no healing. Halo has already switched over to the Lucio because he's trying to race back to the point, but honestly, it's because this point's already been lost.
Yeah, the wall and turret aren't going to do very much work against the composition that Envy are running. You have two snipers here and a Roadhog who's not really going to be caring too much about the spitballs that turret is throwing at him. And Jaru and Sharp can stay safe away from the LOS of the turret by hiding in those halls and working the crossfire, which we saw Sharp do with Abandon. Now, Second Wind going to keep Barbie on the Mei closest to the ult. They need something here, some kind of hope to hold, because this is an uphill battle if we've seen one.
Oh, and they know the character shifts have come in, so they know they're coming in with a really nice advantage. Halt into Dragon Strike, but look at how good that bio grenade was to keep themselves healthy. And now I think because of these wall hacks, they know they're at a huge ultimate advantage. They take these two kills to start things off, and they're going to use their ultimates, like you said, with Reckless Abandon, because they can. Crimso gonna get stunned out. This could have been a little bit faster on their side. The second one should be credited for delaying this a little while longer, but all of the kills coming for Team Envy until Barbie gets one on it. The Widowmaker, Blizzard going to be taking a lot of this skill away from them, but the way that Evie has spread out, this is their point to lose for the time being. That hook saving Ellie vote there, who's going to be able to get back into that next. Crimso also using that whole hog, and now the Dragon Strike comes through. Team Envy looking so strong. Will they finish with time?
Oh, beautiful play, beautiful hook from Crimso. I got you
3 seconds.
back. Very nice from Team Envy. Exarath so unlucky there. I mean, ring around the rosy for Hammond is, like such a basic, thing that you just need to be able to do. But in that case, it actually knocked all of Envy out of the AoE of the Blizzard. Feels bad, man. But Envy take this, and with, like you said, 3.3 seconds left, seem very masterful from beginning to the end, running a composition on attack that we don't see as often, but still with that understanding of what's our win condition, right? They got a turret. We're not even going to bother killing that turret. We don't need to kill this turret. If we break this shield, if we set up a crossfire, we will burn them down.
And so we actually haven't seen that comp work, I think, at all so far. And maybe you should just stick to the namesake, because everyone trying to mimic it definitely has not had the same type of success.
Luckily or unluckily, depending on who you are, I'm not sure if Clockwork is going to become the next GOAT.
And so Team Envy now going to be on the defensive side. They did so well on point A before. They lost at the very last second, and then they kind of let second win come back into point B and snowball into the last point. But we're at 4 points in. We've actually seen 0.1 seconds before. I believe it was a Gladiators Legion game last season where one team didn't end with time and one ended with 0.1 seconds, so they were given another attack. So 3 seconds might not seem like a lot, but if second win finished the map with no time, it could be the difference between a draw and a win for Team Envy.
Absolutely, and second wind not going to be trying any shenanigans this time around. It is similar to a GOAT's comp, but with Frill on the Baptiste. I believe this is a new hero for him, so really excited to see what he can do. Crimso already setting up, looking for a big anti-nade opportunity. Oh!
Big anti-nade has been found, HamTornado. 3 people, but all that's going to do is going to allow Team Envy to rotate around. Shredlock is a slep, so they don't have a big shield. Team Envy is just going to let the time run out because they're totally cool. The less time second win have, they're going to be... Oh my goodness, that's a lot of purple on the field, and that's enough to stop a thought, that's for sure. Team Envy getting closer to some of those ultimates. Lessard and LA though rocking the double main tank there. Fire, usually like on the other side, we see the TPS running the Batiste, but we're seeing Team Envy run with some versatility that we're actually not used to seeing them run with, as Lessard is going to get to the Primal Rage. This is a very dangerous spot if you're second win to have a monkey with Primal Rage, because you see the Eiffel Tower in the background. You don't want to go towards the Eiffel Tower if you're on that team with the Primal Rage. That might happen, and now they're going to try to burst down this Winston. He's going to try for those environmental tails. He's going to get at least one of them. Exarath, though, going to find that immortality field. Everyone's going to be vulnerable. Is he going to find another one? Yes, he does. Those bits are a knock, and he's going to get the ult charge there, because one of those checks on Winston, and you're able to find an environmental kill right when Primal Rage goes away, you get the full ult charge for the kill, and that's why you're seeing them with 36%.
I love Team Envy working this comp to perfection. They never try and overstay their welcome. They already learned their lesson a little bit earlier, working that point B defense. You saw second win taking a very long rotation onto the high ground. They did push Envy's bunker off the patio, but without doing any damage, without taking any kills. And now Envy, while they did expend that Primal Rage, they still have EMP. She could be lurking in the back line right now.
EMP hits 5 members, and so does the Biotic Grenade. This type of synergy you can't find everywhere. Team Envy really rocking it right now on this defense.
Oh, you can't buy this kind of synergy.
I'm
Beautiful
pretty sure
plays.
that's how that works, though. When you're on a team, you do technically, right, with contracts, right?
Theoretically speaking, and how the players actually work together, I mean, just take a look at Mayhem. Anyways, Second Wind still have some tools online. You have Barbie back in mech, actually, so Second Wind can initiate their push in the precious few seconds they have left. But Hello Imelo is hacked. Desire needs room to get energy to drop this grab.
And Lulcich has the Primal Rage. The Graviton Surge is going to be the Immortality Field is there as well. But their feet are not on the point, and that can pose to be a problem if you're trying to take the point.
We were just talking about toes in chat earlier. They're so important. They need to be on that objective. And Second Wind, I was already looking forward to what ults are they going to drop? What's their strat once the grab maybe lands, maybe doesn't land, the shatter lands, doesn't land. You got to get on the point. You got to get on the point, folks.
I think they were given a little bit too much respect. And honestly, with the Primal Raging Winston, they might have not ever gotten to the point anyway. It's just when, it's going to be a little easier. You could have been a grab. One person should have been on the objective. They knew how much time was left, and that those kind of mental mistakes do stick with you. And so hopefully throughout halftime, Second Wind realized, right? Because it's been close, right? That went to extra innings. Control went to 3 rounds. It's not like Second Wind is going to demolish out of the water. Those last couple rounds of Paris were actually definitely more on Envy's side. They definitely had a little bit more control there, but Second Wind has been competitive throughout. So don't let that take advantage of your mental state. Don't let that take too much room. Just move on to the next map, which is going to happen after the half. So we're going to see y'all in 6 minutes.